I truly picked the worst week to try this challenge. This would feel a lot less stressful because the stakes would be lower. I really thought that time would be my biggest constraint for this experiment, but I think my biggest constraint is actually just me and my mindset and the way that I work. Okay, picture this. Logging off work at 1 p.m. every day. It seems like some of the most productive people are able to just work 4 hours a day and still have a successful career or succeed as an entrepreneur. I always hear that less is more, but my question is, does that actually apply when it comes to your workday? Through my research, I found that there have been entire countries who have experimented with shortening their weekdays. So in Sweden, they tried implementing a 6-hour workday, and they did find that their employees were happier, healthier, more productive, and had higher job satisfaction. A similar test was ran in New Zealand, where they only worked a 4-day work week, and that resulted in a 20% jump in productivity. I've always kind of wondered why school and our workdays are always structured in this like 8-hour format when studies literally show that employees are only productive for about 2 hours and like 50-ish minutes each day. So here's the plan. This week I'm gonna aim to only work 4 hours a day from Monday to Friday. I'm also going to try to use the framework that Tim Ferriss provides in his 4-hour work week book called DEAL, which stands for definition, elimination, automation, and liberation. I need to define everything that I want to accomplish this week, which ties really well into the second step, which is elimination, which is really playing into that 80-20 Pareto principle, where 20% of your work provides 80% of the results. Then comes automation, which is essentially just automating as much of the process as I can and delegating what I can as well. But I'm gonna try to see if I can use certain tools to help me automate some of my work. Lastly is liberation, and what he means by this is really breaking free from the confines of a traditional office environment or work situation. But the liberation part for me really plays into the idea of breaking free from the 40-hour week mindset. So starting with Monday, annoyingly, someone has decided to mow their lawn as soon as I turned on my camera, but the show must go on. I started my day by actually just combing through my Notion and my AccuFlow and just making sure that I'm taking account of everything that I need to get done this week. I am most definitely kicking myself a little bit because I truly picked the worst week to try this challenge because next week I'm actually headed to Europe for nearly an entire month, meaning there's a lot of projects that I need to wrap up this week. This is what's going on right now. I have to script and film 5 videos. Usually I do 1 or maximum 2 videos a week. So the fact that I have to do 5 videos is definitely, it's raising my stress levels a little bit, I'm not gonna lie. I also have to finish editing the podcast for this Thursday. I am actually close to being done because I typically do like to stay ahead of schedule with my podcast, so I'm not too worried about that one. And then of course, because I am also a freelancer, I do have other stuff that I'm working on as well, so I need to actually read through like a bunch of different docs about the software for one of my clients, synthesize the information and create a plan. And then I also need to prepare our web developer for a new website project that we need her to work on. So 2 tasks related to marketing, freelancing, and then I also need to write a newsletter this week. Genuinely the worst week to have done this. I am not gonna lie, I'm stressed out. Okay, from this list, I think I'm gonna film the giveaway video first because that's actually due tomorrow, so might as well just knock it off the list. I estimate it's only going to take maybe like 20 minutes, hopefully, fingers crossed. You know that I've had a productive day when the hair gets pulled back and the bangs get pinned up because they just annoy me, especially when I'm trying to really get stuff done. So I thought I would do a little recap of my day. I felt pretty good about today, but I do feel like in order for this challenge or experiment to be successful, I need to be implementing some sort of a, I don't know, just like better plan. This experiment has kind of made me rethink how all of my organization is structured and how effective it really is when I am really trying to focus on the 20% that produces the 80%. I've always known and have said that it's super important to have a proper like productivity and organization system in place to be able to help you make sure that you are staying on track. And I guess it's a good thing that I'm now kind of reevaluating and like shifting my mindset a little bit to see if what I've been doing still applies if I'm only working 4 hours a day, because what if I want to implement like 4-hour days into the rest of my life, you know? I did actually recently create a video around my organization system, like the basis of it and why it works. So if you want to see that video, I'll put it in the cards above. Before this new schedule, I really wanted to look to some of the people that I look up to that I feel like have a really good system in place, and one of them is definitely Ollier Online. It actually kind of worked out perfectly because Ollier has worked with HubSpot to create a free resource teaching you how to create a proper productivity and time management and organization system that really works for your workflow. I've been partnering with HubSpot for quite a few years now. I just really love that they create all these free resources for you to use, whether you're starting a business, whether you're trying to get productive, whether you're trying to use AI. Like there's just so many different resources out there completely for free, and they're actually really good. So I downloaded Ollier's guide specifically, and it actually has sections on like goal setting, task management, file management, app recommendations, and there's even templates in there that'll help guide you as you're creating your system. There's just so much good stuff in this specific package. Some of the apps that he recommends are obviously Notion, SparkMail, which I am such a fan of, and ClickUp, which I have been really looking forward to trying, and there are a bunch of other ones as well. So I'm gonna work all of those into my upcoming 4-hour per day week and just see how I can really start to optimize my own system using some of the recommendations that he gives. I know that HubSpot has free resources for everything, but I honestly could not have found this specific one at a better time. Anyways, if you want to check out the free resource, I'll have it linked in the description box below. But thank you, HubSpot, for creating these resources, supporting my channel, and then also partnering with other creators to work on cool projects like this. I honestly love HubSpot, but that is no secret by now. Good morning. Grabbing my little trusty sticky note. So yesterday I was able to film all the B-roll as well as software shots for a video that I'm working on. So that video is all completed as far as filming goes, so now we have to edit. That means I now only have 4 days, right? Yeah, 4 days to film 2-3 more videos, edit 1 video, prepare stuff for a developer, everything else. Everything else. I honestly was pretty surprised how much I was able to get done within the 4 hours. So I'm not feeling as stressed as before, but definitely a part of me is like, okay, the filming part like probably takes maximum an hour per video. The scripting part is like another hour, but it's the editing part that I'm really worried about, because editing does take me a really long time. I don't know if it's realistic for me to edit, but the bright side is I actually don't have to edit all of them this week. It's more important that they're filmed and I have all the B-roll and everything planned out so that I can edit past this week. Like I can edit while I'm on my trip, which is fine, it's fine. Initial thoughts, I do kind of understand why this works for people, because having a shortened time frame does really sort of, it adds just enough pressure that I'm like, all right, we cannot fuck around. I need to get this done. Ow. I need to get this done, and I need to actually do this within the 4 hours. And so there was like no dilly-dallying, and I was a lot more locked in than usually at my desk. I'm like doing an hour of work, and then I'm like, maybe I'll journal for a bit, and then like maybe I'll do this, and maybe I'll do some research, and then I get back to work. So I will say I probably am spending my time on a lot of like the 80% that creates 20% of the work, rather than focusing on the 20 to 80. Anywho, let's start day 2 and see how far we get. Who's got 2 thumbs and is super stressed out? this girl. I kind of told myself that I wouldn't do any editing this week because it just takes so much of my time, but what did I do yesterday? I got trapped in an editing hole. On the bright side, I did end up finishing one of these videos yesterday, which is amazing because I no longer have to worry about it. But that also means that I now only have 3 days to do everything else. I think I would like to tackle some more filming and scripting, so just making sure that I at least wrap up the filming and scripting for one more video, and then I think I need to move on to my marketing task because it's closing in at the end of the week and I really need to get started on those because they're not a small project. I'm not gonna lie, I feel like if I had done this on a week that I wasn't literally leaving the country for a month after this week, this would feel a lot less stressful because the stakes would be lower, but adds to the excitement of this video, right? Oh my god, I'm gonna lose it. Ugh. To save myself from literally pulling my hair out, today I decided to be super regimented and actually decide exactly to the dot what I'm gonna be doing for each hour. So I decided I'm gonna spend the first hour and a half scripting and filming, and then 2 hours working on the marketing project. Hopefully that's enough time to wrap it all up. And then the last half an hour I will be preparing the development doc for our website developer. If I'm able to actually follow the schedule and get those 3 things done today, I think it'll make me feel a lot better. Alright, so yesterday didn't really go as planned. The idea of creating like a time plan made sense in my head, but I didn't account for my first task to go longer than what I had expected. I think it's definitely a good lesson for today, just knowing that, okay, I may think that it's only gonna take me an hour and a half to do scripting and filming, but could take longer than that. So I had to move one of the tasks that I didn't complete yesterday to today, which is fine. Everything is fine. I'm fine. Okay, no, but I think that everything will be fine. I do really see the value of doing this challenge. I think it's honestly just that I turned the experiment onto like super hard mode, advanced mode, due to the undeniable deadline that I have of me leaving for another country. But honestly, the fact that I'm actually making it through my list with just 4 hours a day is absolutely bonkers to me. It's actually making me question like everything, to be quite honest. So the game plan for today is I'm gonna spend the first like 30 minutes to an hour. Yes, we're giving time frames now. 30 minutes to an hour, just wrapping up the marketing task that I was working on yesterday that I have been assigned from like my freelancing client. And then after that, I wanna spend 1 to 2 hours scripting. And then whatever time I have left, I want to script my last video that I need to complete. And instead of trying to film today, I'm actually just going to script and plan for the shots that I need to film. I think the scripting part typically goes as planned, but sometimes the filming parts and the editing parts, things just come up, right? Like I try out a bunch of different shots, and then when I put them into Premiere Pro and I look at them all together, I'm like, wait, this doesn't make sense, or I'm missing something, then I have to go back to filming. And so I think the filming process in itself is just more time consuming. So we're going with a new strategy today. If I just focus on doing the scripting today and then planning the shots, then I can spend my entire 4 hours tomorrow just filming, which should mean that it'll be a better use of my time. I'm really intrigued by what this is showing about my patterns and my habits. I actually didn't even realize that I was somebody who jumped from like task to task to task, because at the end of my usual like 12 to 14 to 16 hour days, I get everything done. But I'm realizing now that I'm not really grouping my tasks well enough, even though I am time blocking and I'm like creating blocks of time for each project. I think it may be more beneficial for me to say like, today is a scripting day, tomorrow is a filming day, the day after is an editing day, instead of doing everything for just one video. Because my hypothesis is if I group by type of tasks, it'll actually take less mental strain to go from task to task, rather than going from something like scripting to something drastically different like editing. I really thought that time would be my biggest constraint for this experiment, but I think my biggest constraint is actually just me and my mindset and the way that I work. Also, I feel like making matcha is like the new routine on my channel because it used to be coffee, now obsessed with matcha. Welcome back to my channel. Alright, it's officially nighttime. I've got my big ass light diffuser right in front of me, so if I'm squinting a little bit, it's because I'm literally being blinded right now. But I actually went to a family barbecue after work. That is one thing I will say I really appreciate about the 4-hour workday is that I have so much time. Like, I spent hours at this family barbecue and I'm back and it's 8 p.m. right now. So I took some notes about my overall verdict, thoughts about the 4-hour work week. So first and foremost, I want to talk about whether it's actually realistic for me to implement the 4-hour work week into my schedule. Because I do make my own schedule now since I've started to do content and freelancing full-time, I think it's more possible than if I was still working a 9 to 5, because obviously if you're working a 9 to 5, you need to clock in from 9 to 5. So I do think the 4-hour workday is not the most realistic if you are working a full-time job. However, as a freelancer, do I think it's something that I can implement? Not fully. I don't think I could do just 4-hour days, at least at this point of my entrepreneurial journey, because I don't really have a team that I can delegate to, and I think that is a really big important aspect of being able to just work 4 hours. However, I will say you can get a lot of stuff done within the 4 hours. I realize that I'm not somebody who has a problem of deep work or focus work. I can sit down and get in the zone and do deep work or focus work, which I found was a really necessary skill for working a 4-hour day, because essentially if you have only 4 hours, you need to really make use of those 4 hours. I don't think that this is necessarily something that you can just jump right into if you don't have a proper system in place that actually helps to keep you on track and gives you clarity about what are the most mission critical things that you could be working on. Now, even though I can't implement the 4-hour work days into my full-time schedule, I do think there is a way that I could implement it, and it's to block off 4 hours of deep work every day and to set the goals that I want to accomplish for that day in the morning, every morning. I do time blocking. I craft to-do lists for each day, but I definitely am guilty of putting too much on that to-do list and then just filling my day with like a 12-hour work day. It is most definitely an issue that I'm currently having. So I think my takeaway from this challenge really is to make sure that I am setting those important like 20% tasks, mission critical tasks, every morning, and then blocking off 4 hours of my day to work through those tasks. If I have to go over those 4 hours, that is fine. If after the 4 hours I decide there's a few other side tasks or a different project that I want to work on because I want to work on, that is fine. But my new rule for myself is that I will have at least 4 hours of deep work or focused work that will be dedicated to those more important mission critical tasks. The biggest challenge about having a flexible schedule is it's on you to be productive and to stay on task. But whether or not you decide to try to implement the 4-hour workday, I think always keeping that as a mindset is so helpful. What do you think? Do you think that you can do 4 hours of deep work every day and be able to finish everything that you need to get done? Leave a comment and let me know your thoughts, as well as what your current work habits are and how many hours you're working in a day. If you feel like you don't yet have a proper productivity system that works for you, I would highly recommend going to the description box and checking out that All Your Online package that was created with HubSpot. It honestly helped me a ton throughout this challenge. It is such a good resource. Plus, All Your Online is amazing. He's an amazing YouTuber, creator, and just like teacher, like educator on productivity, finance, and tech. So definitely go and check that out. If you enjoyed this video, go and check out this video next where I talk about how I built my organization system, the DOT system. But that's everything for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you're having an amazing day wherever you are in the world, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!